Alright, I'm going to do a quick video on my daily gun, if you will. What I would grab if I needed to, if shit hit the fan. This is a Daniel Defense M4a1. Big fan of the company, big fan of the quality, really just a big fan of the quad rail. So that's really why I went with the Daniel Defense. I've got a Phoenix rechargeable flashlight. The reason I got this is for the strobe feature there. The lumens is crazy. If you get hit by this at night, you're fucking blind for sure. Got Magpul offset backups with the Eotech for the hollow. I've got a Radian Raptor LT charging handle, and I've got a geissele trigger. I think most people say it geissele, but I also have the Magpul MOE vertical grip up here. The trigger on this is just sexy. That would be the first thing that I would do if you're going to upgrade your AR. Grab a geissele or any upgraded trigger there. And I'm going to continue with the long form stuff. So if you're going to grab something like this, there's a couple things that I did wrong, or so to speak. When I mounted this flashlight, originally I had it on this other side. I used some cheap knockoff bullshit. I don't know if it was made out of aluminum or something a little bit stronger, but when I took it to the range, I took the flashlight with it because I wanted to shoot the way I run my gun at home, and the way I would run it if something were to happen. And the recoil caused the mount to get loose, and it kind of damaged the quad rail there. Not the biggest deal. It upset me for a while, and it looked worse than it does. You might not even be able to see it. I might have to look worse to me, of course, because you know this. I paid. I think these run up to $2,200. I got a pretty fucking good deal online. Bought it from a gun broker from the cheapest person. I think it was like $1,900 when I bought mine, which is pretty fucking decent from what I understand. Not sure that I would buy. I would probably buy this rifle again, even though I've had to make some upgrades with the geissele trigger and stuff. But I mean, that trigger, I do not get tired of hearing that trigger. And definitely go look at some of my. I've got some rapid fire. I've got a rapid fire video, maybe two of the M4a1 after I installed the trigger. The charging handles, there's not really a difference because I believe the stock one is ambi. It's just a little bit longer on the wings, a little bit easier to grab it. Probably a little bit more left-hand friendly as well, I would assume. Don't know, I'm not left-handed. I don't know if I would change my light, so that's what I'm going to talk about changing. Is like, I want to run a suppressor at some point. I've got pistol suppressors. I've got 45, I've got 9mm. I do want to run a suppressor, but this rifle in particular has a pinned and welded muzzle device because it's a 14.5 inch barrel with a pinned and welded muzzle. I believe that I could just hire a gunsmith to change that out. I think that's a little bit outside of my scope. I do all my attachments and stuff myself. I put my own trigger in here. And maybe I'll run a video on that, because the one video that I found that did this, their hands were all up in the way when they did the trigger, and it's a pain in the ass to put one in, but you could definitely do it by yourself first time. Just find a YouTube video like I did. Very easy to do. I wouldn't pay anybody to do and definitely don't pay anybody to put a charging handle in. I don't think anybody would, but for the trigger itself, I believe geissele recommends you hire a gunsmith, if I'm not mistaken. You can do this yourself. It's not that hard to figure out whether or not your gun's going to function or not when you change the trigger out. It's just a pain in the ass, especially when that spring's got tension when you switch out the triggers. And then I had to do some random shit. I had to unscrew this, pop this out, unscrew this. And I believe I had to do something else weird in order to put the trigger back in. It was blocked by, I think it was actually blocked by this, the safety selectors. think I had to take this all the way out in order to get the new trigger in or get the old trigger out. One of the two. But it wasn't that hard. It took me, well, longer than I'm probably willing to admit, maybe an hour. And most of that time was my fat hands trying to get in here and hold tension on that spring so that I could put, I believe it's these two pins back in. This one, I believe, was the bitch. The more forward one. Pain in the ass to put that pin in. I tried to get my wife to help me do it, and it just made it worse. So I recommend doing it by yourself. And hopefully you've got some patience, because I was cussing like a motherfucker trying to put that pin in and hold that tension at the same time. As if I had three hands, it'd be a hell of a lot easier to do that. So some of the things that I would probably change is, let's see here. I would maybe change this light if I could find something a little bit more. It's in an awkward spot. It needed to be far back enough that I could activate the strobe function. So I could activate this with my hand on the grip with my index finger. And depending on the situation, like, that would be enough to deter some shit. Or at least blind people enough. Give you an advantage in a situation. Maybe a home invasion or something when everything's off, the lights are off. But it's rechargeable. That's one of the reasons I bought it. It's a rechargeable flashlight. I don't remember the lumens on it, but it's pretty up there. And then the strobe function is just top tier. Definitely would recommend running a light with a strobe function. Like the backup irons, I don't know if I would run. I don't think that they need to be canted, but it's not really that big of a deal to go from, you know, your optic fucks up, flip up your backups, and boom, you're good to go. The Magpul Canted is definitely the way that I would go. I use some knockoff brands on this too, and it's same issue I had with the knockoff brand on the flashlight mount. The front sight would not sit flush, which could be probably fixed by shaving it down or whatever, but it also got knocked loose with recoil. I've shot this twice since I've installed the Magpul Canted backups, and I have not had an issue with that. So save your money the first go around and buy you something a little bit more quality. Learn from my mistake. I think the Canted backups that I had originally were only like $40 for the set. This is definitely more expensive. I don't remember, 140, 160, something like that for the set. You could probably get them on sale too. Definitely worth the investment if you're going to run Canted backups, because it took me, I did a pretty quick standing unassisted 0 on the backups just so I could have something if my Eotech goes down. I do carry backup batteries obviously, but if something more catastrophic happens, which I don't think will, this is just, you know, something fucking crazy happens and you need the backup right there until you can get back in the fight and fix the sight, whatever's malfunctioning with it, or switch the battery out. But I think that's it. I don't know if there's anything else I would change with this. Definitely check out the videos that I have with this. The M4a1 did not get as much attention as my other videos with the suppressors and the revolvers and stuff, but